Where'em Widale. I am Melton, son of a carpenter in Murray. That a carpenter worked on skyscrapers, my Murray, yeah. I'm the son of a carpenter, Murray. I get to tell you truth. I get to make parables. And yes, I see truth. Where'em Widale is about a more honest world because of the ever-present eyes and ears of technology and Dad. All doctors, it's not that we don't trust you. It's that we are hanging on your every word and we want to make the most of your expensive time. You're going to have to pause if you want to read this. It's about the devil lawyer and her 7-Eleven marriage to the Samuel Lynn Bond and all that other stuff. Check it out. Bubba and Lance are back from a hunting trip. They're members of the NRA, proud members. You got good reason to be proud. And they see some folks praying to the 9/11 Muslim devil down below. I don't know why that's not focusing. And yes, Mormon cult perverts casing neighborhoods when the only ones home are the kids after school. So they pick up truck them. And yes, they wait until the parents get home so they can have a word with those folks in bed with California's LAPD and other law enforcement, county and state organizations on site today, harassing over the top. They call them up. The parents tell them get home, have a word with them, and we'll call up California's law enforcement to a man, to a woman active in America's hijacked weapons and ask them why are they an active part in that? That's compromising our security as a nation. What's your part in that? Get them on speakerphone. They're very entitled, so get them screaming. Post. See a vapor trail? Be on the side of those driving the tanks, the jeeps, the jets. Side of children and truth. Not one Flight 93 check call in over a decade of asking a Melton, John Melton Brady. Make that video, you got the time and the date in your video as well as my numbered call. Whatever boring thing you get, phone ringing, error message, busy signal. Yeah, you get a lot of folks praying to the 9/11 Muslim devil down below. Whatever you get, not going to be boring. If you need firemen, police, paramedics, it's money out of your pocket every day. Your AT&T livelihood, so get it on video. Be on the side of those driving the tanks, the jeeps, the jets, the side of the children and truth. We're in Utah, and a whole lot of Mormon cult princesses are taking a class on penmanship, note writing. And the teacher looks at one of them and she says, oh, this is way too good penmanship. They're never going to believe that you are not a Mormon. And yes, elsewhere in the U.S., the cops are talking to mom and dad and they show them a note. Is this your daughter? Right here, and the note reads, you won't let me do anything. I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And mom bursts into tears. He says, oh yeah, that's her. They'll mark it off as a runaway. What the Mormon casing ends with. Agnes is a nurse, and she's noticed a lady in the hospital often with her family member, and she's, yes, crying a lot. And Agnes says to the woman, did you think it took forever when your AT&T phone was what you used to get the fireman, police, paramedic? And she says, oh yeah. Well, I guess that's kind of hard to prove. And Agnes hands her several of my images with yeah, AT&T, Mormon cult, Muslim cult, senators, mayors, governors, numbers on the back, and it says, yeah, you make that video, not one flight, 93 check call in over a decade. You try to call Melton, you get it on video. You ask your senator why they aren't looking into stuff like that. Post. Adam is a police chief from somewhere other than California, Los Angeles, and he's concerned about the top cops of California, troopers, county, city. In particular, it's Moore, LAPD, he's concerned about now. He got there just in time. Happened to be in LA for some kind of a conference, and that door opens up to Moore's office, and he walks out. So does that Fedster, you know. He says, "Come back." Moore does to the federal guy on his way out. I'll be good. I don't know what to tell them. It's obvious by hijacking America's lifelines you're being treasonous about. And yes, he's got that handprint on his face. And yeah, that police chief, he'll be doing some counseling for LA's. All of you, try to call me in front of them. Save that video for the Senate subcommittee. It means more coming from you. So, some bleeding heart folks are picking some stuff up. It's someone who's going to open up a museum for those poor, you know, Japanese folks interned during, you know, put in camps during World War II, and said, "You sure you want this stuff?" And they said, "Oh yeah." And they opened it up, hadn't been seen for half a century at least. And of course, it's plans for Pearl Harbor in one of those, and strategic places all across America that they had been doing that foreign folks on American soil like the Muslims are today. And yeah, she'll be hiding that kind of stuff because she hates truth, but you get that truth out. So Governor Newsom is at a press conference. Excuse me, he's at a photo op. Call it like it is. And he is seeing all kinds of Melton, son of a carpenter and Mary imagery, big fights and such. The 93 checks up, which I can't find right now. And someone just comes out and asks him, "Why aren't you doing something about Solari Enterprises with their Muslim?" Yeah, it's very frequently talked about the Taliban, the ISIS, the royal Saudi Arabian family. Why aren't you doing something? He says, "Oh, I've got a presidential bid in mind, and yeah, if they up and kill them, the Mormon cult or the Muslim, then yeah, I don't have to worry about the truth interfering with my presidential bid." So Father Adam is talking to the general about America's hijacked lifelines, and he does so in a very calm, polite way. I'm using this particular technique. I know a lot of folks know how to do it, and yes, I had a Muslim guy 3 weeks ago lay in wait at the Shell station as I went across the street to get food. I also get pills over there, and laid in wait to harass a Christian in a wheelchair as I came back over in front of Solari Enterprises, a Muslim company that's been part of harassing a Christian in a wheelchair for past 2 years, 3 months. And when the general was screaming good and loud, he asked him, "Is this how uninformed you were, General, when we got attacked by a whole lot of cowardly Husseins with 9/11? He didn't know anything about the hijacked lifelines and easily documented stuff, and he really should in his business. "Is this how uninformed you were, General, when they placed a cowardly Hussein in our White House right after we got attacked by a whole lot of cowardly Husseins?" And he gets a nice video for the parishioners. Wojcicki with 490 million, is that what she's worth? she's gotten a call from women's group that is upset about her stance on their child's hijacked lifeline. Yes, they didn't like this Mormon cult princesses, and they keep putting strikes on my YouTube. Princesses have gotten the yes, the cow joining one. Little old lady gets her home pushed into by these Mormon cult fraud members, and all good Americans want to know why Susan is actively opposed to them laying down the law, the people's law, against that cult, which is a dangerous part of America's hijacked lifelines. What is it, Susan? Have you just gone insane? Now I got to check, see what that is. I don't watch the on TV and the news and stuff. Over towards Glendale. Make that video of America's hijacked lifeline. Pose. Whatever you get when you don't get me. If you get religious censorship, they can place a cowardly Hussein in our White House right after we got attacked by a whole lot of cowardly Husseins. Get that on video, not one flight 93 check call, and over a decade of asking. A whole lot of folks getting their hands bloody. Get it on video. Gina's husband Harry can be very stubborn. And she has found out about his heart doctor's connection to the Mormon cult folks. Oh, false prophet Russell Nelson's half as old as his fraud of a faith. And you know they got plenty of others much younger. And she demonstrates something to her husband. She picks up that phone and she tries to call me. 424-229-4140. These folks are openly committing fraud, just waiting for that Senate subcommittee, Harry. Do you think that heart of yours is going to work any better than your phone? Jessica has been by her child's bedside for a long time now in the hospital, and Agnes had given her a big long list of folks who are doing the exact opposite of what all good folks should be doing, protecting America from dangerous hijacking of our lifeline. If you thought, Agnes tells Jessica, if you thought your phone worked slowly in an emergency, but you figured just because it was an emergency, try to call Melton, John Melton Brady, right now, and get it on video, folks. Praying to the 9/11 Muslim devil down below and harassing a Christian in a wheelchair openly, with LAPD active in that. California's law enforcement active. And she calls them up to a man to a woman on that California payroll and says, why are you in bed with Mormon cult perverts? Why are you an active part in America's hijacked lifelines? Why do you hate Christianity and truth, Officer so-and-so? Get them when they're drunk, get them when they're high, get them when they just got that big cast from Solari or YouTube. Get them screaming out why they are an active part in America's hijacked lifelines. Post. Kendall Stevenson, who runs AT&T, based in Dallas, Texas, and Susan Wojcicki, who runs YouTube, are both having this big kind of board meeting, conference, whatever you want to call it. It's got a big pie chart of what they spend. Yeah, stockholders, vice presidents of the company, CEOs, who knows, I don't know the lingo. And they ask, what's that gray area there? And Randall says, oh, I'm conducting my own private war in South America, and I need money to do that. And someone asks about the orange area, and Susan tells them, oh, that's for those who didn't like placing a cowardly Hussein or perhaps a cowardly Trump in the White House. Harassment projects for them.
It's a big YouTube board meeting. All the BPs and Susan Wojcicki's there. And she says, Tom, remember, the elections are coming up in that certain state. I want you to have that senator's son's indiscretion popping up on everybody's YouTube. Now the next order of business, yeah, Donald has left us. And someone says he got a promotion. I said, something like that. Working for another company called the devil. She says, you get that big corner office and handle all those calls about Melton, Subacoctor, Mary. But give them a week, and that office is ready. Yeah, they got to do a little cleanup work for the walls. They're starting to call it the coroner office. Jared is a young Mormon cult member. He's not on his mission. He decided instead to be a part of organized crime with his Muslim brothers from abroad, be treasonous as well. And he's walking out of that ugly as sin temple. They insist that, the devil insists they spend 3 long hours worshiping him and his lies. And Jake's there, he honks. And apparently he's been getting a whole lot of honks because he just flies off the handle, Jared does, and cusses out Jake. Jacob walks over and he says, why'd you do that? Why are you doing that to us? And he shows him his phone. He says, this is a website with 100 and growing of your harassment projects all across America. Of course, it's on Flastrap as well. But based in Utah with their Muslim brothers from abroad, we're sending a message, we're keeping an eye on you. We don't like what you're doing, harassing a Christian in a wheelchair, me, for example, among many other harassment projects across the country. And he sees another one of those guys, he's going to hit the horn. He's got that those sites set for those folks who are part of organized crime, fraud, and treason. He goes by their houses to haunt. He should too. Call them 24/7. Get them screaming out what else they're doing besides. Active in your families. Hijack lifelines. YouTube's Susan Wojcicki, Russian billionaire's wife, is at a meeting, and afterwards she has to borrow someone's phone so she can make a call. Sometimes, usually she just tells them that her phone's not charging. It is charging, but she's given up on that. Putin, who is managing the Trump administration, he doesn't like her blabbing things. The guys with no sense of humor from Russia don't like her blabbing out their state secrets, so she can't talk on the phone. Husband neither. Melton stigmatized. Used to be all dark brown and slowly but surely changing to blue. The brown part there's a little lighter than my eyes used to be. Started changing in '96. 1996. Trying to lose these like a bad habit. But medical research being passed by, if I can find that one. And I think you can see in that one. Gives a text first. Smaller browner circle on the outside disappearing. Coming! Have to go. He is a member of the military. He's not semper treasonous. Good old American. And he's got a big list. He's handing them out to
other Americans, and he's handing out to others of the military. You call up California's law enforcement, you call up the federal folks, you call up those elements he knows. He's not doing America a favor by hiding it. That are sent for treasonous and active in impersonating yours truly, active in AT&T, cowardly hijacking America's lifelines, and then getting Randall Stevenson in Dallas, Texas, getting his hands even bloodier, altering phone records, covering that up. Randy gets those calls into all those cops, home numbers, non-emergency numbers, of course, and he gets those very humored folks, the ones that get all that extra money. He gets them screaming out what else are compromising the security of America with. Hear a siren. 9/11. Flight 93 checking posting 5. I'm Milton. I've been asking America to check their lifelines for over a decade, and I've yet to get that first call. You got the time and the date in your video. You got my number dialed. You got AT&T's bloody-handed phone game. Bought Spectrum next door to harass a Christian in a wheelchair. Growing a new paralyzed medical research being passed by. A lot of folks praying to the 9/11 Muslim devil down below. Get them on video doing that. AT&T, Mormon cult folks, Muslim cult folks, YouTube. Time on your phone, my number dialed. Post whatever you get when you don't get me. Amanda is a rape victim, and she makes a video and explains that. Makes a video with her phone, like I'm making this video with my phone. And she also makes that video of Mormon cult perverts casing her neighborhood when the only ones home are the kids after school and her. She goes to college. And she explains these Utah cult fanatics, zealots, scare me. She won't answer the door when they knock, of course, but she's got to get groceries, and they will sneak up behind her. And they will not take no for an answer. And she makes a video of them giving some candy to some kids out on the street there. As her phone is not allowed to work, she demonstrates that by trying to call me. Make that video, post that video, whatever you get when you don't get me, and call up all Mormon cult. Find out why they're being the devil. He's addressing the college crowd. He'll be addressing the church crowd, another one, tomorrow. And he has those documentaries. These are the Mormon cult fanatics. Shuttled from Utah to Los Angeles, these particular ones. Points out where they're shuttled from, what they do. They harass a Christian in a wheelchair, me. And he points that out. He makes a nice documentary video of each one for all those good Americans across America to do more than just 9/11 Flight 93 check. You can't reach me by phone. You have no idea when else your phone won't be allowed to work. He's got the addresses. Park noisemakers outside their homes. Get them screaming out, these particular Utahnians, what they're doing besides harassing a Christian in a wheelchair for the past decade plus. I just noticed something. I went through, I've got two of these. One's for, what's on the DVD there. The DVD label on my wheelchair there. I looked and just separated and it's the Hussein one. The cowardly Hussein one's missing. And the photos got to me. That one there, a little beat up. The 8x10's a little beat up too. I'll have to go through and look and see if the cowardly Hussein got off into the Saints, but yeah. It speaks to the Mormon cult, I believe. They've got several shrines, temples to the cowardly Hussein in Utah. So ladies, that the country club. And another lady walks up to her and she says, "You got to see this." And she says, "You went to school with Melton, John Melton Brady, didn't you?" And it's a documentary video, or maybe just an audio, of her with impersonators of yours truly. And it's been going on for decades. And she just carries on like Lori the devil. Oh, it's not Lori, it's someone in my class. Carries on like Lori the devil, and she says, "Who gave you this? That's a bunch of lies," and this, that, the other. And the other one says, "Oh, it's the priest. He was concerned about your active participation in threatening the flock with that part in America's Hijacked Lifelines." So Kayla is driving in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and she sees the devil Lori, my personal knife in the back, sister, Lori Ann Brady Bond, with the hood up, and she works as a nurse somewhere, and she says, "Oh, please, don't move, don't move." Yeah, she's been bitching me out because of her car karma. All of the devil bonds got the gay brother of Samuel Lynn Bond, Lori's gay husband, and Cheryl Bond works out here in Los Angeles with the Department of Water and Power with his Mideast wife, in charge of 1 in 30 Americans, water and electricity. And yes, she says, "Don't move, don't move." Yes, she was spinning her head around. She does not even think about it, devil Lori. Get it on video and get her active part in your hijack call to me on video. She can reach me by phone. You need to know how she does that. So when you have a fire or emergency, your phone can work like Lori's phone works to taunt me. Here's 7-911, Flight 93, check and post in 5. 911 Flight 93, check call in over a decade of asking. Get that on video. The family's lifeline being hijacked for religious persecution, for religious reason. Or it can be business or politics. Whatever the reason is, yeah, get it on video. I'll get a quick parable in, if I can do that in a half minute, about the false Mormon cult prophet. About half as old as his fraud of faith. He's 95. And some folks having a little fun. He goes around everywhere on a stretcher. And they tell the Mormon cult missionaries with him that, there's a gal inside wants to be baptized as a Mormon cult member. And so they run inside, and yes, that ambulance pulls up and loads him up and takes him to a hospital. Yes, I just uploaded 5 videos to YouTube and they're not taken. So we got a couple computer entrepreneurs went to this insane asylum. And there's this Russian gal in a straitjacket, been going crazy a lot in public, I'm told. Anyway, one of the computer entrepreneurs says, "We told you not to sway towards that Lori and Brady Bond kind of crazy." Don't worry, they got plenty of replacements. Remember to post those videos of my imagery. I got 30,000 4x6 photos, youtube.com/DNFT series. Yeah, follow the links, print them out, make videos, and ask Susan why she's actively suppressing truth about our hijacked lifelines for over a decade. A politician is having a press conference. Take your pick, mayors, governors, senators. Could be like a morning show or news show. You know how vain those folks can be. But whoever it is, they're kind of smiling because they see those in the audience there. They're smiling, and
Years afterwards, that press secretary or whoever will walk up to him and tell him all about that Flight 93 check image they had on that poster behind them. Not one Flight 93 check in over a decade of asking. No certified, no non-certified mail, guys. Make that video of not only religious censorship but medical research being passed by. Post.
Mormon cult pervert politician is at this public event, and a lady wants to know, is your cult praying to that 9/11 devil down below? And of course Romney says, I don't know what you mean. And she says, America's hijacked lifelines, that's what I mean. Let me demonstrate. She tries to call me Melton, John Melton Brady, not one Flight 93 taking over a decade of asking, no certified mail, no non-certified mail. Yeah, make a video of that mail if you're going to send it. And yes, it takes 5 minutes to make that video of your hijack call to me. Not one Flight 93 check, calling a decade of asking. And yeah, no calls from those folks in those hospitals who thought it took forever for their phone to work in that emergency. Call AT&T, all employees try to call me. Find out what else they're involved in. Florida, have at it. This makes a good 8x10. You can read the smaller stuff. Hand this out to all states, all Americans, all from foreign countries even. Tell them. California has an active part in compromising the world's security with their praying to that 9/11 Muslim devil down below. Before you come out here to California, you go out there to California. Oh, I got 30,000 graphic art photos, and a lot of them are 93 checks. Pick the one you like, hand it out with my number, tell them. Let that audio maker, video maker go as you try to call Melton and you ask California law enforcement and government, why are you an active part? Solari Enterprises, YouTube. Why are you an active part in America's hijack lifelines, the cowardly Hussein placing, other compromising elements of our security? What's your part in that? Get their reaction and post again and again. Call them. They got too much time on their hands. They're here harassing Christian and wheelchair terrorists.